Yeah, well, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining this information session. My name is Christopher Barlow. I'm the Director of Career Management and Corporate Engagement here at the CAT School. I'm also adjunct faculty in marketing. See some of you are in my class this fall, so that's good. I serve as the program director for Pitt for a program that we're going to explain today, which is the PA Pennsylvania Robotics and Technology Fellowship. And we have our partner who will introduce you in just a moment, Connie Paluca from Callis Connection. But wanted to give you kind of a quick background of what this project is and how it came into being. So during the pandemic 3 years ago, we worked with Callis Connection. They applied for a grant with the R. Mellon Foundation, and we kicked off a program called the Pennsylvania Manufacturing Advisory Fellowship. And in that, we ran 15 projects. That lasts about a year and a half. Fast forward to about 18 months ago, U.S. government, federal government, through legislation laws, had allocated funds to different regions to stimulate economic development, especially in industries. So part of this was for the area, we'll put in a bid to work on robotics and automation and autonomy, because there's been a lot of development in this particular city and this particular region around robotics, autonomy, and automation. So the city of Pittsburgh, the region that we're a part of, was awarded $67 million from the federal U.S. government to further stimulate the industry here. Callis Connection approached Pitt Business and asked if we wanted to replicate our PA math program and create a spin-off of that, the Pennsylvania Robotics and Technology Fellowship, which we have done, which results in us being afforded the opportunity to work on 27 projects over the next 3 years. And this is focused on small to medium-sized enterprises and how those enterprises can adapt robotics, automation, or autonomy into their operations, or if they're developing those technologies, how can they further go to market with those technologies or further develop technically those capabilities. So does everyone know what autonomy means? Autonomy. Yongha, do you know what autonomy means?
Yeah. I think it's up to us.
What's that?
It's up to us, like liberal and
Yeah, so that is one definition. But you have autonomy in your life. But when we refer to autonomy in the setting, what we're talking about is autonomous vehicles or autonomous robots, right? That operate in space without specific direction, right? So a car that can drive itself, a drone that can fly itself and inspect a bridge. So there's a lot of development happening around autonomy related to robotics and automation. So that's the autonomy that we're referring to. That's at the heart of what the project is. What we're going to go through here today is to further explain what the program is. And I'd like to turn it over to Connie Paluca, who will introduce Callis Connection, who the partner organization is, and how we're structuring the program. Connie, can you hear us?
Yes.
Great. Over to you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So as Chris mentioned, my name is Connie Paluca. I lead the consulting team at Catalyst Connection. And if you're not familiar with Catalyst, we're a private not-for-profit consulting group that helps small and mid-sized manufacturers achieve their growth goals and help their company become more competitive. And part of the great thing about working with the CATS Graduate School, the other graduate schools at the University of Pittsburgh, is it's really helping companies really adopt additive, whether it's advanced technology or anything. Excuse me, anytime I'm talking, my cat feels obligated to join the conversation. Basically, achieve their growth goals and adopt new technologies. So the types of projects that you could be working on could cover a lot of different areas. It could be related to robotics and automation. And when it comes to robotics, it's not a one size fits all type of solution. So the project you work on could be to determine what's the best use. How could robotics or automation help their business, help it streamline their production, improve certain areas? So you could be, kind of reviewing their entire production process, identifying opportunities and helping them overcome implementation challenges. A project might relate to just digitization. And when we think about digitization in manufacturing, that covers a wide range of applications. It could be anything from the front office to operations and everywhere in between. And it's really all about getting the right data to the right people at the right time. A project might be related to additive manufacturing. So, it's additive manufacturing is still relatively new to a lot of manufacturers, but it is another tool at their disposal. So it could help them reduce their cost or increase their capabilities. So the project could relate to something along those lines. And cybersecurity, we've had several projects under the previous program which related to cybersecurity, helping companies understand where they could be at risk and what they should do to close any gaps and then reduce that risk. So, and with Catalyst, we'll be working along with you and the manufacturers to help resolve the issues that they're having. Chris, I'll hand it back to you.
I think, Bill, you're gonna take over here,
I
right?
think I'm starting to drive them.
Yeah. Thanks, Connie. Appreciate the introduction.
All right, so I'm Bill McShane. Some of you may have seen me at orientation running around doing tech support, doing various other activities, making sure you got one place or the other. But I'm the Associate Director for Integrated Learning. One of my roles here, in addition to doing orientation, I manage our global opportunities, which you'll hear more about over the coming weeks. But I also work closely with Chris and our partners at Catalyst on sort of the application and the student basically lifestyle or life cycle of this project. So these are basically going to be 6 to 8 week short, intense mini consulting projects. There'll be about 4 of you on a team. It could be a combination of students. All of you could be from CATS on the team. It could be a combination of students from CATS, the Swanson School of Engineering, our School of Computing and Information Sciences. So it could be an interdisciplinary team as well. Right now, we are sourcing applicants for our CATS Fall 2 half semester. So the application call that you all have access to right now is for opportunities that will begin in mid to late October. So we are working hard to line up the projects for that time, as well as potentially start to bring in executive coaches and things like that to help us manage the projects. So as it mentions there on the slide, in addition to your team, you will also be supported by an experienced executive coach who typically has industry experience in the field that you're working in. So if it's a finance type project, we'll usually have a coach that has a finance background. If it's one that's maybe more supply chain focused or more, as Connie mentioned, additive manufacturing, maybe a coach that has experience there. You'll hear a few minutes. We had a project over the summer that dealt with a woodworking company, sort of an advanced manufacturing in that sphere. And the coach actually was recently trained as a carpenter and has sort of interdisciplinary experience coming from BNY Mellon. He worked for many years as an executive at BNY Mellon, had a career change, moved into this side of the field, and so he was a perfect fit for this opportunity. The one thing I'll note here is this is not a typical course that you would enroll in. It's basically outside of the classroom experience. So you are, obviously still a student here at CATS while you're doing the projects, but it's not going to be like a typical class with a syllabus, with a final, a midterm, things like that. It's purely going to be professional. While it is an academic experience in some regard, you are going to be learning, obviously, but there's more in terms of, what value are you driving towards the client and what are you bringing to the table here? Chris, any comments you want to add on this slide?
So we've done 2 of the 27 projects. So we have 25 projects to go over the next 3 years. And we sort of tee up the projects to go in fall 1, fall 2, spring 1, spring 2, and then summer 1. So we have projects kind of starting regularly. And what we're doing in the application too, and Bill will get into this more detail, is that we're creating an applicant pool, right? So even though you may apply for fall 2, and maybe there's a project, I know there's one project that's heavily focused on the engineering, and they're looking for engineers, right? So we might source more students from Swanson, but that doesn't mean just because you don't get on the fall 2 project, as long as you're a standing student with CATS, you can be applicable to the program. We will outreach to you in advance and offer you the position, the fellowship. And hopefully you're still available and interested. So that's how that will work.
So this slide here, we kind of split it in half. So we have expectations for you as a student. We also have expectations, what we expect, what we will provide you as a student, but also what we expect from you.
Yeah, so I'll start with the expectations of students, right? So commit yourself to the project, where these are clients at Catalyst Connection. These are operations. They're looking for, we scope the project with Catalyst Connection. We have listed outcomes that are expected of the projects, right? So we look at all of you as professionals working on this project. Your goal is to create and generate value for your client, right? And the program's only successful if we can generate value. If we're not generating value, it's really detrimental to the program. So that means that you have to, and we're selecting you based on your background, right? Your skills, your attributes, your experience. We also do look at sort of, your desired professional development as well. But you have to commit yourself to the project, right? If you're not going to commit yourself to the project, then we're not gonna, it's detrimental. So represent yourself and the University of Pittsburgh. It's not just about you individually working on this. You're a CAT student, you're part of the University of Pittsburgh. Your input, like what you're doing, matters to your client, right? This is, they're, they have expectations. We have expectations from you as well. It will be about 8 to 12 hours of work per week over a 6 to 8 week time period. So that's basically what you can expect, 8 to 12 hours per week. And then you're expected to complete all the required feedback and learning assessments as part of this project too. So like, for example, we asked you to do surveys. You have to complete the survey, right? You're going to be reporting weekly on your progress. That's not something we want, we would like you to do. That's something that's expected as part of this program as well. So,
and what this opportunity is enabling you to do is, you're going to get professional experience here with a client firm in the Southwest Pennsylvania region. You're going to get, they're working on a real challenge, a real problem, or a real issue that they want you to take a look at. But you're also going to be building, those transferable skills, those hard skills, those soft skills. Not only will you be learning about the industry that you're working in, whether it's robotics, autonomy, advanced manufacturing, but also, those critical thinking. You'll be dealing with ambiguity. You'll be working in a team setting. So all those, skills that are going to be valuable from when you get out of CATS, you're going to be working on them throughout this time that you're on the project. It's also a networking opportunity. You're going to be having some really experienced executive coaches. You'll have colleagues that will likely be helping you with the project, such as Connie, who you met earlier. We also have other colleagues at Catalyst Connection, who will be providing feedback, as well as opportunities to connect. The first project we did on this, the coach said to the students, hey, I'm available to meet, to just chat about the project and, give you feedback, but also just, talk to you about what you want to do after CATS. And they didn't really take them up on that. So that's something we want to make sure that, as we're moving forward, when the coach offers to mentor you, to talk with you, take advantage of that. I mean, they're there to help you. So these are just opportunities we want you to take the most, take as much out of it as you can. And then you'll also be getting a stipend, which is $2,000 before taxes typically taken out. We'll explain more about that on the following slide, but you are compensated for this experience. So it's an additional thing, you know, that may be helpful for you as you're getting through your semester here.
So pay some rent and get some professional development experience. That's not bad, right?
Groceries.
Some groceries, maybe some, permitted sandwich or wings,
So the big thing that we'll just cover here is that, you must be a current student to participate in this project. So unfortunately, if you graduate in December, if you aren't able to get on we aren't able to get you on a project before December, unfortunately, we can't put you on a project after you graduate. You do not have to apply for CPT, or have an independent study associated with this course. We'll share with you the process of how you get paid, all that stuff, once, if you're selected on the projects, things like that. But just note, it'll be a one-time payment, and you will likely have taxes taken out of it. So it is $2,000 that we provide you, but it'll show up as a little bit less than that for sure.
Yeah, so it's probably 30% taxation, something like that.
Something.
Yeah.
So this slide here has a couple of just comments from students about what they took away from this experience, both from the spring projects as well as from the previous experience. But actually, what I would like to maybe spend a couple moments on is one of our students who did a project this summer, Kartikeya, who will talk a little bit about his experience with Eisenwood and kind of give you a sense of what it's like to be a student working on this experience. So I will turn it over to Kartikeya.
Thanks, Bill. Hey everyone, good evening. So I worked on a project over the summer with Eisenwood to the PRDF fellowship. Eisenwood is a local woodworking manufacturing company. They're very they make customized products. So it's a very niche sort of business that they have and they're working on. As we've been talking today about autonomy or kind of advanced manufacturing. So our project was somewhat related to that. Eisenwood right now, currently their processes are very traditional. The way they track the job production, everything on the floor that's happening, it's all sort of done on a whiteboard or just a simple Excel sheet. So the main challenge for the project was to come up with ways how they can track their jobs and their production management digitally. And so that's where sort of our main project, that's what it was based on. So it was an 8-week project, and we as a team, it was a team of 4 students, and we had Kerry Browser, who was our executive coach, and we sort of like laid it out about how the initial research would be, understanding what they're doing right now, and then using sort of our knowledge, what we've been learning here at CAS. Like I took the Six Sigma course last semester, which I thought was useful to a lot of extent when we started discussing about how to make things more efficient or lean, so stuff like that. And also so learning skills about how to engage with small and medium businesses, work in teams, figure out ways to come up with innovative ideas about how companies like these, which are essentially not very big, there's not 500 people working there, but how in a cost-effective manner they can also digitalize their processes. So that's essentially what we kind of worked on. We provided a lot of recommendations. We were actually able to successfully come up with a tool that they can digitally use to start their production management. So that's what we essentially worked on. Catalyst Connection was also really helpful for the process. We have Matt Minner, who would connect with us almost every week, give us a lot of recommendations, ideas about how we can work through this. The PMO office, obviously, and Kerry as well. So it's a great experience. Yeah, thanks.
I think we have one last slide, and then we will open it up to questions. So the application is online. It is on, we have a PARTF landing page. that has a link to the application. If you registered for this session, whether in Handshake or through the Zoom link, I will also follow up with you later this week with a direct link to that page. So if you can't find it, don't worry about it, you'll get a link. If not, just email me. We'll send it to you. We do ask that you submit, it's a short application, kind of asking why you're interested, what you bring to the table, and then you'll also submit your resume so that we get a sense of your background and what, you know, degree you're working on here at CATS or at Pitt, wherever you may be. And then we will work to notify you prior to the start of the fall 2 term. So our goal is the deadline will be September 25th for applications. We hope to notify you by October 9th. We'll start the project matching and all that stuff after that. And then the deadline to accept the offer will be the following week so that we can kind of hit the ground running for projects starting October 23rd-ish. The one big thing I do want to mention here, in addition to being a current student, you must be in good academic standing in order to participate in these projects. So if you are a CAT student, that means having a 3.0 GPA at the time. If you have a GPA, we will also be working closely with academic advisors for those of you that are just starting CATS to make sure that you are, you know, academically eligible to participate. That is one thing that we do want to make sure that we maintain for these projects. But other than that, you know, definitely, you know, take some time to think about your application. Next week, next Thursday, September 7th, myself and Katie Bennett will be doing a session on crafting applications for these types of experiences. So I encourage you maybe to register for that so you can get a sense of how to sharpen your application for these experiences. But other than that, Chris, I don't know if there's anything you want to add, or we can open it up to a couple questions.
No, I think the Q&A, you know, as Bill said, you know, it's not a long application, but it, you know, put some thought, especially in sort of your statement, because it can make or break a candidate. Like, between the more we can connect with that, the better position you're going to be. But then again, you know, we're also looking for specific skills to match the clients. So,
Yeah.
you know, some projects are going to be more technical in nature, some might be more sort of marketing research in nature, some more finance. So, you know, we're looking for specific skill sets too. So, any questions about Pennsylvania Robotics and Technology Fellowship? Whether or not, so international students, you know, you don't need your CPT to be a part of this, so, you know, free to apply. Being that there's no extra things that you need to be concerned with related to your employment status in this country.
Yes.
Students who are coming from non-tech background, like
Yeah.
you just said, you will be checking out our resumes. So do we stand any chance?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you will.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's sometimes, like, I think just to add to Chris is, you know, we want to make sure we have a variety of experiences on the project. But you know, we'll want to balance it out every now and then. Like, we have one that we're scoping right now that has to do with a certain way something is made. So that one we will at least need to have somebody who has some sort of, you know, prototyping or engineering experiences.
Yeah.
But beyond that, you know, we want people from a variety of disciplines involved, just because it, you know, lends itself to different perspectives on the experience. So,
Yeah.
definitely don't let that discourage you from applying. So to say.
yeah, like project management, communication, leadership.
Yeah, all that stuff.
It's really important.
And plus, it's also a chance to kind of learn something new, right? You know, if you're in marketing, you know, this may be an operations project or something, and this is a good chance for you to kind of get an understanding of that area. So.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? If you're online, feel free to send me a chat, or if you want to unmute yourself and ask a question. Otherwise.
Going once, going twice.
We will
Gone.
post the recording on the webpage as well, so that you have access to this. Like I said, we'll be accepting applications through September 25th. If you have any questions about the project and experiences, you can talk with me, talk to Chris.
Yeah.
You can talk to Kartik. So otherwise, we look forward to seeing, I think I counted about 30 of you in here, so I better see at least 30 applications on September 26th.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you all.
Have a
We'll
good
get you
night.
all back to balance of your evening. Thank you, Connie.
Yeah, thanks, Tommy. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Uh,